Yo, and we back about to talk about this Jay-Z interview that went terribly wrong. Make sure y'all hit that hype button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Finna get into it. Let's go.
Jay-Z attempts a comeback. He schedules this interview with GQ that was a scripted interview. They knew the questions beforehand. He answers the questions on cue. But the purpose of this interview was to convince us that him and Roc Nation aren't as terrible and evil as the world is making it out to seem. I think at some point during this interview, he did say they're going on the offense this year and not the defense, meaning they're going to be proactive in trying to deconstruct the narratives instead of letting the narratives fester and then have to send copyright strikes and go after independent small creators who are just doing their job by reporting on the treachery of Roc Nation.
And the truth is, at the end of the day, it still reigns supreme.
When you're feeling these feelings, how do you then bounce back and get back to being Jay-Z?
I don't know. This is the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just like, all right, man, we played enough defense. 2026 is all offense.
Nah, Jay-Z probably ready to play offense because all the bad stuff he done heard about himself, all the bad stuff he been hearing about his company. So, he tried to do the little interview or whatever to clear a whole bunch of stuff up. Now, a lot of people saying it backfired and it didn't look good on them, but hey, it is what it is.
Politicians perfected this skill, but the upper echelon of celebrities have also taken on this skill, which is making a scripted interaction look like it's genuine. If you watch this interview with an untrained eye, you would probably think, oh, this is just a genuine conversation. They're just going with the flow. No, this conversation was scripted from stop to start. Like, for God's sakes, they had a 60-year-old wearing grills and an almost 40-year-old dressed like Miles Morales.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I did wonder, why was Jay-Z wearing a grill in the interview? And the dude interviewing him looked way younger than him, which is crazy.
Whoever was like the producers or the script writers for this interview, they thought, how can we make this feel authentic? Jay, wear some grills. Let the people know you are for the culture. Hey, you 40, dress up like Miles Morales. They even told bro, hey man, put the hat towards the back. Yeah, wear the hat like this. Man, whoever dressed, bro, he dressed like how people think black people dress, right? From start to finish. It's just a fact, bro. I remember at some point during this interview, like he asked Jay-Z, man, how do it feel to be a universal soldier, a warrior for the culture? And you have people blaming you for...
I ain't hear him say that in the interview, but if he did say that, he bogus as hell for saying that.
For being a capitalist, I said... What's the question? Hey, bro, how do it feel to be so great? Like what? Nobody has ever in life said, Jay-Z, you're just too good of a capitalist. Cut it out, man. But this is one of those scripted questions that he requested to be asked. He requested they call him a universal soldier. I said, this is just absolute malarkey, but it ultimately backfired. The PR he was looking for, he didn't get it.
Sticking with a written testimony, you have a couple of verses on there that I really like because they kind of speak to what's going on with you in a broader sense in the culture, like on Universal Soldier. I think it is when you said that you don't keep the same energy for the DuPonts and the Carnegies.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this idea of like you said earlier, like the things that you do for the culture, the ways that you put on, the ways that you try to protect and move forward, but kind of the pushback that you get sometimes about like people throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. People had this allure for the struggling artist. That's a mind game.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, I did feel like out of all the stuff in the world you could ask Jay-Z, it did feel like he was asking him some of the craziest stuff. Not crazy as in the sense what he was asking was crazy, but it's just like you got Jay-Z in front of you, and instead of asking all the other billion questions we want to know, this is stuff you asked him. That was kind of crazy. Like the interviewer just seemed off.
What we would call back in the day for tricknology. It was like, no, I'm not going for that. Like, no, I make art first, and then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take no one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in like a capitalist structure. That structure exists, and I just see the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be. I'm a realist, not an ideal. It's not idealistic.
Have you ever heard anybody say, "Oh man, Jay-Z, you monetize your art too well"? How dare you make those albums and sell the way you sell? Man, cut it out, bruh. Nobody in the history of life have ever said that. You've never heard anybody say it. You've never heard anybody say that ever in life. But what people have said when they call Jay-Z a sellout, I can go down the laundry list if you want me to. Right? I would have asked, hold on, bruh. Did you tell Jermaine Dupri not to work with the NFL when they approached him to do the halftime show? Didn't you tell him not to work with the NFL because we was boycotting the NFL just for you to take the Super Bowl job?
Now, Flacco, you knew dude wasn't going to say nothing like that. If dude would have asked Jay-Z that question, the whole interview would have never came out. I guarantee you, or Jay-Z would have been like, edit that out, or he'd have just stopped the whole interview. Like, it ain't gonna come out if you ask him a question like that. Like, he ain't getting into all that type of stuff like that, even though that's what we was told.
And start working with the NFL and then tell black folks, we done protesting. We done blackballing the NFL. What's next? After you got hired, after they gave you a check, after they gave you again, the NFL paid Jay-Z to be a cultural regulator. Jay-Z was that one black person they had on the plantation to watch out for any escape plans. Black folks was protesting. We was done with the NFL. They gave Jay-Z a check to tell us to stop boycotting. After he got hired by the NFL to make them look good, Rock Nation called up TMZ to run a bad story on Colin Kaepernick. This is why we call Jay-Z a sellout, for doing things like this.
It was Nessa, and she was talking about Nicki Minaj's claims about a smear job that Jay-Z had against Colin Kaepernick. But I know for sure, that Rock Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. This is another story where I give Harvey a ton of credit, right? So I'm at my desk one time. This is after the Rock Nation NFL deal has been announced. And give Harvey more credit than just with how he played this. I'll give him credit for the fact that he goes, hey, I just got this information on the phone. I know who was on the other end of the phone. I know who Harvey's Rock Nation contact is, right? I just got this information on the phone. And all of these things about Colin Kaepernick is what I just got told, right? He comes over to me and he tells me all of these things. And it was the whole Colin Kaepernick doesn't really want to play narrative. Like Colin Kaepernick didn't go to this training or he sabotaged himself this way or whatever. Actually, it was the same thing that people had started to hear on First Take. And it was a narrative that was getting around because either it was coming from what I thought at first is that either it was coming from players that had played with him or people that knew things. I don't know, but I had heard it before, right? And Harvey comes over to me and he says all of this stuff and he's like, yeah, did you know that he actually doesn't really want to play? And I looked at Harvey and I said, look, I don't think that we here at TMZ should be getting in the middle of what's going on between Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z.
The really dense Jay-Z defenders are.
I ain't gonna lie. They announced the deal, with the NFL and Jay-Z. And then Jay-Z went in there and told them people, we passed Colin Kaepernick kneeling down and kneeing and all that. We passed the protesting and all that. We passed all that. It's over with. After Jay-Z just ran a whole campaign about we standing with Colin Kaepernick and we boycotting the NFL. But I guess business is business. Maybe the NFL cut Jay-Z a big enough check.
Rock Nation cult members will say, Rock Nation called, not Jay-Z. Right, Jay-Z owns Rock Nation, right? When Rock Nation calls, they're calling on behalf of Jay-Z. And it's no coincidence that Jay-Z signs up to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick criticized Jay-Z for working with the NFL and telling black folks to stop boycotting. And then Jay-Z and Rock Nation began to tell people, hey, y'all shouldn't be boycotting. Colin Kaepernick don't really want to work with the NFL. He don't really want a job with the NFL. Huh? That's why people call you a sellout. It's not because you're a capitalist, bruh. Right? It's because you a snake. And you'll be doing some selling out and bootlicking. This is what you're known for. Now, I ain't got nothing personal with Jay. But, I don't know. It's maybe because I'm in media, man. I just value genuine interaction. And when I'm seeing a clear, scripted interview being passed off as like a genuine, man, it's like, all right, bro. Like, come on, man. Even like the following stuff, like when he's asked about Drake and Kendrick and this battle and this beef, what he says is probably just as absurd as his capitalist statement.
I have no idea. Okay.
Couldn't tell you off top.
That no longer exists. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement. And I love the sparring and the music you get. Mm-hmm. But in this day and age, it's so much negative stuff that comes with it. They almost wish it didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's a final thing. Now people that like Kendrick hate Drake.
Yeah.
No matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too. It's like attack on his character and his thing and it's like, I don't know if I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helpful to our growth where the fallout lands, especially on on social media, which takes place every day.
Yeah.
And now you have these pods of cult.
The Stan armies fighting.
Yeah, and it's like, it's too far.
Yeah.
It's like bringing kids in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't like that. Maybe I've grown in a space that is probably, I sound like the old guy wagging the finger. But I think we can achieve the same thing as far as like sparring with music, with collaborations more so than breaking the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
It could stand it before because there was no social media and there was no thing. And, you had the battle and it was fun and then you moved on.
Right.
Right now, I don't know if it could stand it with the technology that we have.
Because it takes up so much oxygen.
It takes up so much oxygen.
Yeah.
And now it's just like every day they're just trying
they're still talking about it.
It's not just talking about it. Not like, yo, this song, I like this.
Yeah.
It's like trying to tear down the people's life.
Yeah.
Now, see, my whole thing with this is the fact that like when Kanye was going on his rant and he was talking about Jay-Z family and all that, and Jay-Z kids and Beyonce or whatever, Jay-Z was like, speaking on my family is going too far. But then when Jay-Z did the 4 for 4, he was like, in the future, niggas playing football with your son. You see what I'm saying? This future, like that, maybe Jay didn't look at that as it was going too far. But I'm pretty sure Future looked at that like he went too far. Think about it. When the last time? Now I'm pretty sure that video and that song, where Young Thug and Future was probably already did or whatever. But when the last time you seen Young Thug around Future? Why? Young Thug could have said anything on the jail phone call about Future. He could have said anything about him being with other women or anything, talked about anything, but he put his kids in there. And I know when Future heard that, he like, oh, he's supposed to be real. He's sitting on the phone talking about, I need to be a better daddy than my, like who really want to be seen with somebody that called you a deadbeat dad? Like, who would want to do that? You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, Jay-Z do a lot of moving the goalposts. It's like they shouldn't be dissing each other, but if I diss you, then you got to accept it. I don't want you working with the NFL, but if I work with the NFL, you got to accept it. I don't. You see what I'm saying? He do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like trying to, wreck this guy's marriage or this guy's relationship with his child. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Again, I love the idea that we got so much music in such a short period of time.
Great music.
Just everything around it was just like, man, it's like taking us a couple steps back.
Yeah.
And we just grown so much that I don't know if, I guess I'm gonna say it, I don't know if battling needs to be part of the culture anymore.
The thing about Jay-Z is really great at making his own personal issues look like a cultural issues. And then he utilized the culture to solve issues in his personal life, even if it doesn't benefit the culture. Like, for example, Tidal. Jay-Z wanted to line up his pockets. Jay-Z needed investors to come in. Jay-Z needed to build something and to work up this business that was, for the most part, destitute. Like, Tidal was a company that really was not competitive with other streaming platforms. So you know what Jay-Z did? He made his problem, which is this Tidal thing that is not really performing or going up, he made it a cultural issue. Hey, man, this thing Tidal is for Black people. We're gonna bring in our Black creators and we're gonna pay them more than anybody else. We're gonna give them equity because this is for us and by us. And then Black folks rally around Jay-Z, the culture rallied around Jay-Z. Artists like Rihanna and Nicki Minaj signed up to exclusive deals with Tidal because they were getting equity. Man, Jay-Z ran up Tidal, man, sold it for like $300 million and ain't give them a goddamn thing.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, I would have been mad about that. You telling me we coming together, we doing something for the culture. It's the family aspect. We trying to make Tidal, one of the biggest streaming platforms, and then you turn around and sell it and don't pay nobody. Crazy.
Same thing here. Jay-Z is upset because Drake stands. OVO stands have been really vocal and really loud in their critique against Jay-Z because they feel like Jay-Z took the side of Kendrick Lamar. They feel like Jay-Z has been doing some underhanded things. Now, they wouldn't be wrong when they say that Jay-Z picked a side because, like Jay-Z liked Kendrick Lamar more. For whatever reason, he likes Kendrick Lamar more. Jay-Z obviously picked a side in this battle because, his friend, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, he said publicly that when he wrote a positive article about Drake, Jay-Z contacted him to let him know why that article is incorrect and shouldn't exist and how Drake and this and that. So Jay-Z obviously picked a side. You think if somebody writes a positive article about Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z is contacting them to dispute the positive article? No. So Jay-Z will make it seem as if, he's neutral. Oh my God, this is sad. No, the only sad part about it is that a large percentage of hip hop fans who just happen to be Drake fans have turned against Jay-Z, have turned against Roc Nation. And they're very public and very vocal about it, very loud about it. Jay-Z would even admit to such a little later in his interview.
Interesting.
I hate that I have this point of view. I do, because I know what it sounds like. I know what it feels like. I hate it. It's just how I feel about it.
Well, it even kind of extended to you, right? Because people made it a personal thing that you chose Kendrick for the Super Bowl. It's like, oh man, he's choosing the side and he's and he's not.
Like I don't have, what do I have to do with that? I chose the guy that was having a monster year. I think it was the right choice.
Word.
It wasn't in some sort of alliance to a battle. I don't.
Yeah.
What I care about them two guys battling, like, what's that got to do with me?
Word.
Have at it. Have fun. It's almost like, not just me, by the way. They drag everybody in it. Like, everyone's part of this conspiracy to undermine Drake, I guess. But, like, what the like, what? I'm Jay-Z. or due respect to him. Oh, do respectfully.
Word.
Like, for what? to what end?
Yeah.
It couldn't be that these guys just don't like each other.
Yeah.
And I think they haven't liked each other for a long time.
Before you had anything to do with it.
For a while.
Yeah.
I think this has been brewing, just like me and Nas was brewing.
Yeah.
It didn't happen at the Summer Jam. That happened. The Lexington TV sets, the minimum, whatever. It was a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point.
Mint what is the mint slugs in your hat, right?
It was slugs in your hat. It was a bunch of like little things that led up to that point. And then when it happened, I actually regret that because I really like Nas. He's a really nice guy.
Other people like Joe Budden and others had an issue with what Jay-Z has to say about in terms of battle not being no longer part of the culture, or we should move past battling. They had an issue with it. A lot of people did. Now, what I'll say is I don't completely disagree with him. All right. I don't feel like particularly that Jay-Z is the root behind this, but nobody thinks Jay-Z is the root behind the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. But what's very clear is Jay-Z picked a side. Now, do I feel like, him telling Kendrick Lamar to perform?
I mean, at the same time, he could have decided to go with Drake, but Drake done turned the Super Bowl down countless of times. Drake ain't want to do the Super Bowl. So who was Jay-Z supposed to pick? You feel me? That's how, it just went that way. It just went to Kendrick.
Was him picking a, yes, it was him picking a side, but was it a wrong decision? No, Kendrick Lamar deserved to perform at the Super Bowl. He deserves it. He had the biggest and best year of any rapper or artist that year. So he deserves it. Yeah. I 100% agree. Either him or Wayne, but Kendrick Lamar deserves it. But somebody could still deserve it, and you could still be doing the right thing while also picking sides. And we know from people like Michael Eric Dyson and others in the industry, Jay-Z has been very anti-Drake. Giving calls or texts or contacting people because they talking positive about Drake is crazy. But let me know in the comment section, what would...
Yeah, man, like I say, every now and then Jay-Z move that goalpost, but like he said, he Jay-Z. What you gonna do about it? Y'all in the comment section, let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy Buddha. I'm out.